I'm back. Week 9 is in the books. Well, 4 games are basically no contest again, and the other one was won by a team who got just 2 total points from a starting QB and from one of his starting running backs. More on that later, though. This week, I have a little bit of a different spiel here, or a different look. I have a couple, I want to call them awards, I guess, I can give out. First, I want to start out with my Butthead of the Week. That's Team Frank. More specifically, the owner. You have now played 2 games in a row with either bye players or no players in your starting lineup. Why, Ruxin asks you? Because your team sucks. Yeah, no shit. You're 0-8-1. We're aware of your record and how you've struggled this year. It's no excuse to lay down and not put an effort in against these other teams. There are other teams counting on you giving an effort. You gave effort the first few weeks against them. Now give effort against everybody else. You not exercising your right index finger on your mouse for 5 minutes is pathetic. These last 2 weeks you had an opportunity to beat my privates and Team DeAndre with a couple waiver moves. Why are you keeping guys on the bench that aren't producing or are injured? You're 0-8-1. Do something. At least get 9 viable players in your lineup. Either do that or risk losing your franchise to extinction. All right, let's get to last week's games and a couple more of these lame-ass awards I have. All right, now, in my probably it was over before it started game, the Misfits continue their unbelievable start with a 105-73 win versus the Finest. The Misfits are clearly the number 1 seed as they average 115 points a week, and they're now 8-1. Stafford, Purple Jesus, and Jimmy Graham have been fantastic all year, and including this week, as they all scored over 20. The Finest, who handed the Misfits their only loss of the season, could not do so again, in due part because they sat Nick Foles, who had 49, and decided to play Terrell Pryor, 19. That's a 30-point swing right there. I know, that doesn't cover it. However, he did choose to play the Raider defense against the Misfits. That was a -9. That in a cupcake right there. 2 guys is the whole game for the kid. But no worries, as the Bronco foursome returns from their bye to try to save the Finest season this week. Hey, let's be thankful for the Finest in this category. At least he doesn't have any last-minute quarterback decisions to make anymore. All right, next up, my privates. They rolled past the win list this week by 62 points Monday night from Brandon Marshall, 16, Matt Forte, 24, and my dread-wearing boy, Eddie Lacy, with 22 for the pack. Eddie Lacy has now increased his weekly average to 14 points a game in the 7 full games he's played, as he creeps up to a top 3 play every week. Winless, who has an average of 107 points scored against him a week, is also 0-8-1. Big difference between him and Butthead is Winless puts an effort in every week. He makes waiver moves. He tries to make trades. He plays 9 viable players, including this week with Drew Brees and 23, Eshon Jeffrey with 12, and Greg Olsen, former Bear tight end, also pitching in 12 for the Panthers. All right, Team DeAndre escaped with a win over, previously noted, Team Butthead, 104-82. Butthead did get 37 from Tom Brady, who finally showed up in Fantasyland. And it started out well Thursday night, as Giovanni Bernard put in 21 points. But since he didn't play a viable tight end or a kicker, Butthead folded early and easily, as DeAndre had 4 players over 15, led by another Patriot who decided to show up in Fantasyland, Stephen Ridley, who pitched in 22, as DeAndre took advantage of Butthead's laziness and key losses by Ruxin and Playoff Bound to once again claim first place in the Western Division. Now, if I told you that the 2 running backs you play will get you 30 points each, could you guarantee me 100 points for the week? Yeah, most of us could, but not Ruxin. Ruxin got 30 points from Chris Johnson, who also gets a I decided to show up in Fantasyland award, and Zach Stacy also put up 30, who actually is looking very good since Sam Bradford went down. However, Ruxin managed just 27 points from his other 7 guys, as those 7 are my chumps of the week. One of those chumps is newly acquired Cleveland tight end Cameron, as he sat Witten, and it cost him 16 points and probably the game. Some of those other chumps, Arian Foster, pulled out again, 0. Darius Hayward Bay. Hey, how many points you got this week, Darius? 1. Yeah, that's how many hands it looks like you used to try and catch the ball, as you got drop-itis, brother. And the worst thing, and maybe the biggest surprise actually for me, was the Seahawks defense, who had Tampa Bay coming to town. And Mike James ran all over him, just like Zach Stacy did last week, as the Seahawks managed a whole 2 points, and that defense almost cost them the game. It might have cost Ruxin a playoff spot. That's some serious stuff, though, as the individuals kept their chances alive with the 101-87 win over Ruxin. Now, the game of the week is Team Wilson's 110-103 win over Playoff Bound, which, by the way, may have to change their name again soon if they don't start winning. This game kept Wilson alive and dented Playoff Bound's chances. Now, Wilson did have my player of the week in Andre Johnson, who had 40 points, 229 yards, and 3 TDs at halftime. Hey, Andre, what happened? Did you have an Old Spice shower at halftime? Didn't see you in the second half, buddy. But Rob Gronkowski did respond to my calling him out last week. He had 20 points this week. And Wilson, as I mentioned earlier, did get by with just 1 point from Aaron Rodgers, thanks to good old number 99 on the Bears, and 1 point from Darren McFadden, who again pulled up lane. But Bound did his best, as he had several guys on bye and a couple guys injured, but he still had 9 viable players. It wasn't enough, though, as Bound ends up losing this game 110-103. All right, now looking ahead to next week, Ruxin is on life support as he takes on my privates, who now have won a league-high 5 games in a row. Team Wilson, who last week sidetracked the Bounds playoff aspirations, look to do the same to the finest this week as Peyton and the boys return from bye. Winless and the Misfits game says all Misfits on paper or video screen, but hey, stranger things have happened. And Playoff Bound looks to rebound against the Butthead, who, let's see who he plays this week as he tries to still get his first win. Hey, Butthead, just get 9 in there, will ya? And things will get very serious this weekend if individual can get past Team DeAndre. Guys, look, I want to be clear. I don't care what 9 you play, just play 9. Until next week, later.